So today I kind of want to talk about two milestones that I've hit. First, we hit 500 subscribers, over 500 subscribers actually, and I am so ecstatic. Never thought I would get this far. It's a little overwhelming, but I'm really, really happy. I love doing my YouTube channel. I really do. Even if there's one person listening or one person watching the video, um, it's just been really cathartic for me and has helped me a lot just in sharing my journey, documenting my journey. And a lot of people have been really nice about just offering me advice, encouragement, giving me a pat on the back when I need it, when I feel like I'm completely losing it, and just keeping me engaged by asking me questions and also answering a lot of my questions. So I'm just really, really grateful to everybody that has subscribed, everybody that watches any of my stuff, anyone that joins me on the lives, or even just hangs out with me later. Um, Reminds me, I can't see the chat. Why can't I see the chat? Maybe nobody's chatted yet. That's fair. It happened. It's okay. I suppose I'll live. No, I don't mind. Just give me 1 second, sorry, y'all. This is why you should be doing it on a well, hey Shaquitha. This is why you should be doing it on a laptop because it is much easier to follow along with all this stuff. But my laptop is pretty shitty. I haven't gotten a new one yet, so I have some bills to catch up on first. So I'm very grateful for the 500 plus subscribers. I'm very grateful for the amazing views. I have two videos out there that have gotten over 10,000 views each. One got over 30,000 views. I mean, that's just incredible to me. I really never thought I was gonna ever get this far or be this popular. I'm eternally grateful to everybody that just participates in any way, and I hope that I can continue to create content and keep you guys interested in what's happening. um, so yeah, huge milestone. I even got an invitation from YouTube to become a partner. Not a full partner, because you have to hit 1,000 subscribers and some more watch time hours in order to do that. But I've hit that first tier, so I am excited about that. I'm going to be looking into that over the weekend, and hopefully people will enjoy it. I gotta keep my laptop going because or else I'll lose my lighting. My apologies for me looking a bit tired, as I am, because it's 9 o'clock English time, and I'm usually getting ready for bed by now, to be honest. Just keeping it real. That's what I do. I don't go to sleep for another hour or so yet, but usually I'm, just decompressing, answering comments and uh, DMs and stuff, which I'm so far behind on. I'm just I'm really, really tired the past couple days. actually the past week and a half since I started working again. I'm just not used to the commute. And I'm not used to, like, my commute in my old job was walking 20 minutes in town. My commute now is being camped on to the commute for everybody else in the household because we only have one car. And I I have to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, which is not my strong suit. But then because of the commute of getting everyone home, I don't get home until like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Um, and I've been driving because I need to practice. But now, this is a good segue into the second milestone. But now I can no longer drive legally unless somebody else is in the car. Because as of today, we've officially hit 1 year here in England, which is exciting. But it does mean that I can no longer drive on my American license. So I have to either do the commute with the rest of the household and add an extra like half hour onto everyone's day, or find my own way. There is a bus and there is a train. So I'm going to try the train out tomorrow and see how that goes. Um, I'm more worried about getting home because there's like 3 or 4 trains that'll take me to where I got to go. It's the next town over. So it's not a long train ride. It's not a long commute or anything as far as that's concerned. But I'm worried about coming home because there's only like one every 40 minutes. So I'm worried if I miss the first one, which is feasible because I don't always get out of the office right at 5 o'clock. Then I have to wait around for another 40 minutes for the second one or wait for someone to come and pick me up. And the bus only comes every hour. That's the frustrating part. But hey, with the train, at least I'll be able to get a walk in because the train it's like 30-minute walk from the office that I have to go to. So maybe it'll help because I haven't been able to walk a lot in the last couple of weeks because the day has been so long. I get up at like 5:30 in the morning, and then we don't even eat dinner till like 7 o'clock at night. And then trying to do household work and catch up with you guys and all, and do paying bills and all the everyday stuff. And then when am I supposed to walk? So hopefully the train and or the bus will solve the commute problem and help me giving me a little bit more time during the day to catch up with all the other stuff, all the other obligations I have, and some time for myself. And hopefully the commute will also help me with some walking and getting some exercise into because I can feel the difference of not exercising for a while, as I usually did. My stress level's a little bit higher. I'm tired. I'm not sleeping as well, and my mood, I'm getting a little bit more moody, which some people in my life might think is not abnormal. But I promise, walking more keeps it normal. All right, for those of you who are here, thank you guys. Welcome. Feel free to ask me any questions that you want to ask me in the chat. I'm happy to go to answer any questions you have within reason, of course. Please make sure that you're respectful of everybody else that's in the chat as well. No bullying, no hate speech, all that stuff, please. And hit the like button for me and share this if you think there's someone else out there who might want to join the conversation. So the second milestone that we hit, yeah. So we're here officially a year in England. it's interesting, an interesting feeling because it went fast, really fast. And I am trying to figure out how I feel because I go back and forth. I'm happy here and everything, but it's the year has been there's been so much like acclimating and trying to just settle and get all our ducks in a row and everything that it's I don't know that it's 100% sunk in that this is like a hopefully permanent move, assuming they let us. And just getting back to a little bit of a routine because our life has just been so topsy turvy for so long between planning this and executing it and getting settled in. So hopefully, hopefully, it'll be. I'm hopeful that it'll get to a point. Hopefully, I keep saying hopefully. I am hopeful that we'll get to a point over the next 6 months to a year that sorry, the 6 months or year that we'll get just a little more settled and it'll feel a little bit more like home. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see. I am happy here. I'm looking forward to spending more time here and learning more, meeting more people, getting more familiar with the culture and everything. And overcoming more challenges I seem to face. I need to pick them up as we go. Always something. But I'm up for it. I just hope it turns out positive once the novelty has worn off completely. We'll see what happens. Uh, Fortunately, there are some obstacles we still have to overcome. But I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident. Yeah. I haven't even really had a conversation with anyone else about it being a year, other than the fact that it feels like it's just gone really fast. But we've done so much since we've landed, between getting my paperwork sorted out, getting a new car. We literally had to start from scratch. We sold our house, we sold or gave away all of our furniture. We didn't bring anything with us that wasn't able to be packed into suitcases. And that was all that we had. We had to buy a car, we had to find a place to live, we had to buy all of this stuff for the house. We had to get jobs, we had to find a school for the child and get all of that sorted out. In between, we've unfortunately had some people pass away that we've been working on that, and some other kind of dramatic stuff that we've been working through for the past year, on top of trying to assimilate and get settled in. So I think because we've just always had something on our plate for the past year that we've had to kind of, we had a list. We had to just keep checking stuff off the list that we got taken care of. We haven't really had time to really absorb everything that's happened and process it. So that's what I'm hopeful for. That over the next, 6 months or so, that we're going to get to a point that we don't have to worry about, getting all of these things done. We just have to worry about living and really enjoying. And I would like to get to that point. But I'm positive we'll find a way because we're a good family and uh, we've been through a lot worse and have come out. So, anyways, I'm checking that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, y'all. And don't forget if you have any questions for me or anything like that. Thank you, Shaquita. That was very nice of you to say. Um, yeah. So somebody did ask me to talk about something else. To talk about some things that I was looking forward to, some places I was looking. Sorry, someone was asking. Oh, someone just asked a question. Hi, Graham Humphreys. Thanks for joining. What made me want to live in England? I do have a video about this out there. Actually, if you want to check it out. Um, I'm going to answer your question anyway, but just letting you know. If you want some more details, at least it was a video that I did really early on. So it might be a slightly different reflection because I was still just getting acclimated. It's called Americans Living in England: Why We Left. And when I post this, I can link it to you in the description box, so that you can have easy access to it. But the short answer is guns and healthcare. It is. I grew up in New Jersey, where the gun laws are much stricter, and it was much um, harder to get a license to get a gun and to have access to a gun. And I didn't know anyone really who had it, except my dad, who was a veteran, had access to guns for like parades and memorials and things like that. He was part of what's called a VFW, which is Veterans of Foreign Wars, and he was a vice commander and in charge of the color guard. So he literally would walk with the gun next to the flag when they marched in parades and things like that. So I was always like, I've been around guns, but it was always in that kind of context. Other than that, in New Jersey, we didn't really have guns around that much. When we moved to Pennsylvania, my daughter was little, it's a very, very different state, and the gun laws are much more relaxed, and there's guns everywhere, to the point where there is actually an armed policeman in my daughter's school for safety, but that was strange. And she even had a friend that got a rifle for her 9th birthday, a hunting rifle, and her family were hunters, and they seemed very safe and everything about it. I wasn't worried about them or my daughter being around them necessarily, but it just kind of opened my eyes to the fact that we are definitely in a different state. There's not a national gun law, other than that you have the right to bear arms, which is the Second Amendment that everybody talks about. So each state makes its own laws. And with all of this, the school shootings specifically, but mass shootings in general, and being close to Philadelphia, which is a very crime-ridden city, it started to become really unsafe anyway. And then there were a couple lockdowns of my daughter's school. One because of an irate parent, but they obviously had to take that precaution just in case there was any kind of, weaponry involved. So they ended up locking down the school. Everything worked out fine. Everybody was safe. But there was also another incident where there was an active shooter in the neighborhood of my daughter's school, and they had to shut the school down again as a precautionary measure to keep everybody safe. And everybody was safe at the school. and it went without incident as far as I'm aware. But those are really, really distressing calls to get. And it really put me in the state of mind of realizing how dangerous America really has become, particularly with guns. And I just didn't want to take the risk anymore. And when you factor in the fact that the country's going down a really tough spiral road, a really tough road right now, there's not any kind of real help from the government. There's not any kind of hope at the moment for an improvement for the everyday people, for the average American citizen. And that medical costs kept going up and up and up. And we didn't really have the money. If one of us got sick, we would have lost everything that we'd worked for our entire lives. When you factor in all of those things, and you have the option of trying in a different place where at least some of those things are under better control, it's kind of a no-brainer. So basically boils down to that we just didn't see a positive future for us in America. So we had to make a change. So that's what we did. And that's why we're here. And my partner is British. My daughter has British citizenship, which made things a lot easier because it was easy for me to get a family visa then because two of my family members were British citizens. So it made our situation a lot our unique. It made our unique situation uh, extremely plausible. It wasn't a difficult thing for us to get here and for me to stay, hopefully be able to stay. So it just seemed like it was all the arrows are pointing in that direction. That's why we're here, so that my daughter can have a better opportunity for a better life, and hopefully it'll work out that way. So, anyways, that's why we're here. Someone also asked me to talk about some of the places that I was thinking about visiting for the summer, which I'm happy to do. I actually have a list of places that I want to visit, and it's a pretty long list, to be fair. Well, it's long for me, but maybe it's not that long. But one of the things that I really wanted, well, I definitely have to go see Brighton because I haven't seen that yet at all in any of my visits here and since we've moved here. So I'd really like to see that this summer. I've heard the Lake District is gorgeous, so I'd like to try that out if I can. And York, I've heard York is incredible. Some of you guys have mentioned York as well. Excuse me. So I am interested in that as well. And we are planning a family trip to Europe, hopefully Greece, this summer as well, maybe in the fall, to try to get. We just need some like just relaxing family time if we can. Uh, yeah. So those are some of the places. What do you guys have any other suggestions? Let me know. You guys are good about that, actually. And my freaking goodness, you guys are on the ball. On the ball. If I make a mistake or if I say something that's incorrect or out of turn or anything like that, you guys are on it, man. Whew. You definitely don't hold back. But I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Doesn't bother me. I love interacting with you guys in any way I can. some of you, some of the comments have been very quick to call me out on my mistakes or things they think I'm incorrect on, which is possible because I've only been here a year, and even though I'm somewhat familiar with the culture, being around it for a few years doesn't necessarily mean that I'm any kind of expert, and I don't claim to be. Definitely not. I can't wait to just explore everything and learn as much as I can. We joined the I guess it's a English Heritage Association or something like that, where you support the heritage sites and stuff. So we're part of that. We have membership for that. So we're going to be doing a lot of that kind of stuff over the summer as well. The child is very much into like the medieval time frame and how people lived in especially the Tudor times, the Tudor era, I guess is what it would be called properly. So she's well into that kind of stuff. So we're going to be doing a lot of those types of like weekend trips and day trips this summer, definitely. Hopefully, see a whole bunch of stuff. Last summer, we did a road trip where we went to Nottingham. I'm not even gonna try it. Nottingham, Edinburgh, Isle of Skye, um, Manchester, Stoke-on-Trent, and Hay-on-Wye. So that was fun. That was busy, tiring, but it was fun. I enjoyed it, and I haven't put any vlogs out about that really, except for Nottingham, because I just haven't had a lot of. It's a lot of footage, so I have to figure out how to do it. I might need to invest in an editor to help me out with some of this stuff, but I know I'm not too exciting tonight. I'm sorry. I told you I'm a little bit tired. And then yeah, someone also asked in one of the comments for me to talk about the U.S. election. I don't know if that's something that's interesting to you guys. Uh, I am not an expert. I'm not a political science major in college or anything like that. And I'm certainly not any kind of seasoned political commentator. But if you want to talk about that, I'm happy to. At least my feelings about it. My feelings are that the fact that we have a rematch of Donald Trump versus Joe Biden for another election. And I say that I know there's other people running, but the chances of them making any kind of real dent are so small because of the stronghold that the Republican and Democratic Party has on American politics. But the fact that this is a rematch between the two oldest men in history, it feels like it's insane, but a pretty good representation of where America is right now. I find it funny that anybody thinks that Joe Biden or Donald Trump would make a good president in coming terms, given the fact that they are just very old, very set in their ways, and neither one of them really want anything to really change. They're actually a lot more similar than people realize on a lot of the issues. Trump is just really good at talking himself around issues without really committing to anything, and then backtracking once he has to make a commitment or decision. And Biden is just very old school. He's been a politician for like his entire life. And he has not caught up to the fact that it's the 21st century and it's a different world than it was 20, 30 years ago. And thinks that, he can address things the exact same way as he did 20 or 30 years ago. They're definitely not the best that America can offer. There are tons of people out there that would make much better candidates, if not actual leaders. But there is a lot of money involved in our politics, in our political system, in most ways, in most avenues. And those who are paying the money are pulling the strings and making the decisions. And we don't really have, our votes don't really matter as much as a lot of people like to pretend they do. That's that's my take on the U.S. presidential election this year so far. I've been obviously paying attention because it's still important to me. I'm still a citizen, and I still have lots of people that I care about in America, and I don't want, even people I don't know personally, I don't want America to be, I want it to do well. I want it to succeed. It is my home. And I just hope that, I hope it'll actually happen. I hope that at some point there's actually going to be a turn for the better. So, what else is going on? Let's see, the job. I can't really talk about the job too much, only because it's only been like a week and a half. So it's not that much to talk about. It's a lot of training and it's a lot of getting to know systems and personalities and job descriptions and procedure. Um, but so far, it seems like it's going pretty well. Everybody's been lovely, and lots of people seem enthusiastic about having me there. So that's always nice, right? That's always a good environment to come into. And lots of people seem to want me to succeed, which is also, a good environment to come into. There's lots of changes happening though. I'm kind of coming in to the middle of a transition. So that's a little nerve wracking just because you don't know how things are going to be in a year. Um, I guess we'll just have to see. I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll do more live. I'll hopefully with the I can pin this commute down to a comfortable uh, routine, and once that routine gets going and settled, then I'll be able to do more like lives and so be able to talk about some of the details a little bit more. I just don't know a lot of the details right now because I'm just still learning a lot about the company. But there have been some people that have been there for a very long time, so that always bodes well. And fingers crossed that it goes much more positively than the last job, which I hope. Don't want to change jobs again, to be honest. Unless there was an opportunity to work from home, I'd snap that shit up in a second. I miss working from home. I don't understand. The culture in America was much, up until COVID, the culture in America about working from home was very rigid. And depending on the industry that you were in, really depended upon whether or not they offered that to you. Once COVID hit and they had to, it became a little bit more open about it. However, here in the UK, there's not a lot of people that work from home. It's not really a thing here, nearly as much. In this office, there are people that work from home 1 or 2 days a week. But that's it. And as I was told that that is a fairly new thing, that's just kind of cropped up in the last year or so for the company. I don't hate it, but because I'm new, I can't take advantage of that yet. So that's a little bit disappointing. But maybe somewhere down the line I might be able to. I don't know many office positions where you can't work from home. I've worked in several different departments, and unless you're actually on like a production line or in a warehouse, or maybe if you're like meeting with clients, there's no, you can do your work from home. There's everything is computerized, everything's on like cloud servers and things like that. Most people have laptops anyway, uh, for emergencies, or I mean, I've worked in a job where I just worked on a laptop. I didn't even have like a actual PC. So I don't understand the actually they more than one. I had two jobs. Two jobs where I just worked on a laptop and I did just fine. I was extremely productive and actually worked more when I was able to work from home on a laptop because I wasn't concerned about getting to work on time, making sure, I got my work done, not getting caught up in office politics or office energy. If someone was having a bad day or there's a crisis around you, it's distracting. Even if you can kind of turn it off and not get involved, it's still distracting because it's there and you're in that environment. Whereas working from home, at least in my experience for me, I could just breathe a little bit more. I could take the break a little bit more. I didn't feel obligated to be on my computer the entire time that I was on the clock. And I didn't feel, I felt willing and actually wanting to grab my laptop and open it if I was just sitting on a couch watching TV in the evening, even though I wasn't necessarily clocked in, but just to go through some emails or set myself up for the next day just so I knew what I was getting into. And it just kind of, that routine made my life easier and made my job much less stressful and made me feel like I had a better handle on what was happening. And I don't like schmoozing. Like that mindless small talk kind of gets on my nerves. Like I don't mind saying, "Hey, how are you?" asking how your weekend was. That's fine, but I don't feel the need to get into a half-hour conversation about it. And I don't. I hate to say it like this because I don't want to sound terrible, but I don't care. Like I care. I want. I care about people in general. I don't want anyone to be unhappy or unhealthy or hurting in any way, if at all possible. And if I can find a way to make it more positive for you, um, wouldn't wouldn't he? Wouldn't he? I'm going to answer your question in 1 second. Wouldn't he? If I could find a way to make it more positive for them, I'll do it because I'm a human. I'm a human person, and I want human beings to do well and to be happy. But like, I don't really want to know your kids' names and all the stuff that they did over the weekend and how they kept you up all night. And after a while, when you hear it all the time and you hear it constantly every single day, it can get a little bit draining. That's all. So, got a question. Another question. What do I think of the glorious weather? It okay. I know stereotypes are out there for a reason. They're all based in some kind of truth or what was truth at one point. um, or at least the common belief at one point in time. In the British weather, about it raining a lot. Oh my god, it's so true. And I've even heard people call it the land of no sun, especially in the winter, primarily in the winter. It is dark, a lot, it's gray from a lot of cloud cover, rains a lot, and the wind is crazy. Not just the fact that it's windy a lot, wind is, wind, but it is cold wind. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember someone commenting at one point saying that it's like the air from the Arctic and that's why it's so cold. Feel free to place that in the comments if you think that that's incorrect, but it is, the wind is cold, and it you could be wearing just a sweatshirt and pants and be completely fine and comfortable and even a little bit warm in the sun, and then all of a sudden the wind comes by and I'm shivering and I want my coat. But on the flip side, the summers are nice because it doesn't get too hot. Because where I'm from in the northeast of America, it gets humid, really humid. There's so much moisture in the air. And so you would have a nice warm day and then you'd basically sweat just from walking from the house to your car. And if you don't have air conditioning in your car, in your office, in your home, it is really, really uncomfortable and really brutal. So I don't miss that. I do like that your summers are not as extreme like that, but I do miss it being warm for a significant amount of time. I'm getting used to the rain, to be fair. And I used to hate walking in the rain when I first got here, but I'm getting used to walking in the rain more and it's not bothering me nearly as much. It's the wind that bothers me the most, to be honest. That's the thing I'm having the hardest time acclimating to. That wind is just brutal. And you do have to wear layers and bring an umbrella or something with you all the time. I constantly, that I have a few things that I always have on me whenever I leave. The first is an umbrella. The second is a shopping bag because I always forget to bring a shopping bag, and a lot of stores don't have shopping bags. Cash and coin because there's a lot of places here that still only accept cash, and layers. I always have at least two layers on, where I could take the sweater off, or I could take I have an extra coat with me or an extra sweater with me. I never leave the house with any of that. I'm sorry, I never leave the house without any of those four things. I always have those four things on me whenever I leave the house, no matter what's going on, because it just it does happen that the weather changes so quickly. I've been in the country for a year. Today is actually officially a year that we since we landed. The plan is to be permanent at some point. At the moment, though, I am only an expat for another year, and then I have to reapply. I'm on a family visa. It's the rest of my family are British citizens, so I have to make sure that my visa gets renewed and I don't do anything naughty or anything that's going to get me in trouble. And I follow all the rules. And hopefully, within a couple years, I'll be able have that extended out um, to permanent. So I plan on staying here as long as I can for the moment. Although there's some talk and rhetoric that's happening in the political side of things that it makes me a little uneasy because it reminds me of some of the things that have caused problems in America. So we'll have to see how that goes. But for the moment, the plan is to try to stay here as a permanent resident. Um, and that's the path we're on at the moment. But I've also learned to never count my chickens, and we'll see what happens. Because life, I never thought that I would leave America, to be fair. So just you just never know what's going to happen in life. Things change, and I'm just learned to adapt as much as I can. Just roll with it as much as I can. I used to be a lot more uptight about things, but now there's no point. Every time I think I have a handle on things, they change anyway. So let's just see what happens. That's the plan for the moment. Thank you for your question, though. I appreciate it. I appreciate you joining me. Don't make fun of me. I'm not old. I'm not old and ready for bed at like 10 o'clock. So what time is it in America? It's almost 10 o'clock. So it's 5 o'clock in the evening on the east coast of America. On the west coast, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Or what is it, 1400? You guys use military time here. And then there's a whole bunch of other time zones in the middle. Sorry, you guys, if you're from there, that area. But there's just too many to. There's there's a lot. There's For those of you who don't know, who might be from the UK and you don't know, there are a few different time zones because America's so vast. So there's Eastern Standard Time, which is the East Coast. There is Central Time, which is like the Midwest and Central America. There's Mountain Time, which is like the I guess it's basically like the mountainous areas, but it's in between the middle of the country and like California and the West Coast. It's like a sliver of time in between there. And then there's Pacific Standard Time, which is the West Coast. But there's also a different time zone for Hawaii. There's a different time zone for Alaska. And even as an American that's lived there my whole life up until this last year, when I planned our West Coast trip, I did not take into account the time differences, and we had major jet lag. I didn't give us nearly enough time to get over the jet lag. So, tip: if you're going to America, make sure you take into account the time difference and that you're gonna be jet lagged and you're gonna need some time to get over that. I've found going to America, if you leave like in the afternoon from UK time and you land in like the early evening, usually I think that's about the timing, and you stay up and you stay up a little bit and then just go to bed early and get a really good night's sleep. That helps with the jet lag going to America. And then coming back to England, you do an overnight flight so that you sleep a little bit on the plane and you wake up early in the morning and you stay up as late as much as you can. Don't take any naps or anything. And that helps with the jet lag coming back. That's just from the handful or so times that we've flown back and forth. But that seemed to be the best routine for us. We always plan now our trip in those types of with those timings involved, because it makes the jet lag a lot easier to handle. But we're going only to the East Coast. I don't know how to handle going to the West Coast from England because I've not done that, and I could imagine that that's a much harder jet lag to get over. Do I watch telly, and what are my favorite programs? I don't watch a lot of live television at all. Um, just because I don't, a lot of it's crap, to be honest, for me personally. But what what I do watch is I really like some of they're like not really the news programs. Like they're kind of in the like game shows with the celebrities on it, where it's basically making fun of each other, or they're talking about the news and they're just making fun of it. I don't remember the name of all of them, but we watch a lot of those. I like British comedy a lot. Like I know these are old programs, but I really like the Fast Show. I love Faulty Towers. It's one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. Um, and Little Britain, those types of things. I was in that Keen on Mrs. Brown's Boys, which I know is probably gonna make me unpopular with a lot of British people because I know it was very popular here. Um, but I just found it a little bit annoying, to be honest. But I really like British comedy overall most of the time, and I like the like game shows that aren't really game shows, and like the news shows that are parody news shows, and they're just making fun of the stuff. I get a kick out of that a lot. Those are the types of things that I watch. But we did get into. We have only watched the first season, but we did really like the Trader. Um, so I don't know if I think there's a couple more seasons, and I know that there's like an American celebrity version out there. Uh, yes, I love documentaries. I watch so many documentaries um, all the time. My family makes fun of me. My child calls me a nerd because all I would do is watch documentaries. But when I'm on my own, like especially when I wasn't working and I had to pass the time, I watched a lot of documentaries. I like watching a lot of documentaries about this, political systems and how other countries like rule, plus history, and also a lot of just like real life documentaries, like following people and their people who are struggling with uh, um, like poverty, or people who are struggling with an illness or something like that, and just kind of seeing their journey and learning about those things that I don't know that much about. I really like those too. What kind of documentaries do you watch? Wooden Tea? What kind of documentaries do you watch? What do you guys enjoy? Or if you don't watch documentaries, what do you guys enjoy watching? I do. I have a child. One. Just one. One is enough. I'm surprised I've survived this long with one. To be fair, I didn't never thought I was ever gonna have any kids, and it happens. And I enjoy being a mom and everything, but yeah, I did. That was kind of like the mentality. I was never gonna have kids, but I do love my daughter. I think she is amazing, and I'm glad that I have her in my life. She's the main reason I'm here in England. If it wasn't for her, I don't know that I would have come, to be honest with you. But if you missed that, you missed the reason why I'm here. Go back to the beginning and watch the beginning of it, because I did answer the question as to why I'm here in England to start with. Um, but thanks for your question. Yeah, do you have any recommendations for some like British things that I can watch that are very British? Oh, I did watch which I like people watched in America, but Formula One. People did watch it in America and everything, but it wasn't. It's obviously not nearly as popular as it is here. And I did watch a Formula One race a little while ago, and I recorded it, and I just finally got around to editing it and getting it out there. So that's actually coming out this weekend. The first time that I sat down and properly watched the race from beginning to end, and realized how shitty Americans really are at international sports on a lot of levels. It happens. uh, yeah. Any other questions out there, y'all? I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up a little bit because it's getting close to my bedtime. Because, like I say, I'm old. So, all right, I'm gonna go. Thank you all. Oh, maybe I'll watch the stream from the start later on. You detest Formula One? That's fair. I found it exciting for like it had like moments of excitement, but I found it kind of boring personally because it was really long, and for me, I like hockey, ice hockey, which is fast. You know, it's fast moving. So I like sports like that. So I was a little bored to be fair, but I gave it a shot because I try I try everything at least once. I'll do it more than once if it's really good, but I tried at least once. All right, I'm gonna get going and get ready myself ready for bed and ready for my day tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. And if you're interested and would like to see us do some more of these, let me know. And I hope everybody has a great evening. And I can't wait to talk to you guys again soon. Thanks again for joining me and all of your wonderful support. Love y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Yes, imagine yourself in the crowd. Yeah, when I actually went to there was a local racing track when I was a kid, um, near where I grew up, and we used to go to that racing track, and it was much smaller. But yeah, I remember being only excited when the car was actually like passing me, and not really caring about going around the rest of the track unless it was like a crash or something. I guess that's why people watch it. I'm not really sure. I don't think it's my thing. I don't know that I'll be like going to any races or anything like that. But it was good to do once. All right, guys. Love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye.